Hi, Jeremy Crow here. I'm just going to real quick give you a bit of a summary about my experience with the Golden Dawn, the specific branch of the Golden Dawn that I was a part of. And I'm not talking about the political party, I'm talking about the Esoteric Order. So there was an original Esoteric Order called the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. It was very famous, it's influenced so much of ceremonial magic today. And I was practicing a form of ceremonial magic that was heavily inspired by that for a long time, even before I joined any groups. And I saw that there was one branch of this group that, the original group had broken up, but there were other groups that had started up using that same source material. And one of them was called the Esoteric Order of the Morning Star. And so I sent them a message and I said, what kind of connection do you have with Lucifer? Because the word Lucifer was the word that the Romans used to refer to Venus when it's the morning star, meaning the last bright object in the sky before the sun rose. And I thought, well, there's some kind of Lucifer connection there potentially. And when I sent them that question, they replied back with an application to join. So I assumed that that was kind of a tacit admittance that they were somehow connected to Lucifer or had some kind of Luciferian connection with their order, which is not the case. Later, that group ended up changing their name to the Esoteric Order of the Golden Dawn, and then later changed it to Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn when it merged with another group, or not exactly merged, but got permission at least from a group that had copyrighted the name. But this one was headed by a guy named Robert Zink, and there was a picture of him up in the lodge. There was eventually a lodge, local lodge here in Toronto, and there was a picture of him dressed like MacGregor Mathers, one of the original founders of the Golden Dawn, and he was dressed like that, and people would say, oh, he's the reincarnation of MacGregor Mathers, and that was a big red flag to me. Now, I had actually joined it once and quit, and then joined it again later, and to be honest, I can't really remember why I quit the first time, but the second time I quit because all of these same red flags that I'd had originally were just like amplified when I came back. They were even worse. It felt to me very much like an esoteric Roman Catholic cult in a sense, and they were very Christian in a lot of ways, which isn't really that surprising. There are definitely Christian type elements to the ritual, especially as you get into the Rosicrucian part of it in the inner order, or the second order you might call it. But the thing that really finally set me off was I had been out doing work with them to help promote the order, and the guy that was running that local lodge in Toronto, he had said, well, I'm going back to the lodge and I'm going to do some painting and stuff. And I said, oh, okay, well, I got a date tonight, so I'm going to go off and then have, and hang out with the girl that I was friends with. And he said, oh, well, some people have different priorities, some of our priorities are of the flesh and some of them are the spirit. And that to me was just the final straw. I was like, you know what? I've been putting up with all kinds of shit already, all kinds of crap. I just spent about 2 hours doing stuff to help promote the order and get some visibility to the order to try and get some more members, and now you're telling me that if I go out and hang out with this friend of mine, it wasn't even a real date, it was just somebody that I was friends with that I was going to hang out with, and now you're going to say that my priorities are of the flesh and not of the spirit if I choose to go hang out with my friend instead of spend a few more hours working on the Esoteric Order. And I said, you know what, I'm done, and I just quit. And the guy that was the head of that lodge in Toronto, we were actually really good friends, but he just completely cut me out of his life when I quit. And he took it personally that I rejected the order. I mean, it was something he had said that triggered me to quit, but there were a lot of things that had been building up to that point already. And that was the final straw. I was still willing to be friends with the guy, but he completely cut me out from that. And that was the additional piece of information, the final clue to me that this was a cult, a full-on cult. It wasn't just an occult group. You know, occult is different from cult, if you weren't aware. But this was a manipulative, coercive cult, the Esoteric Order of the Golden Dawn, headed by Robert Zink. And that was a very short summary of my experience with them. There were some good times for sure, but that's how they get you. You know, there's certain, they can't be all bad, otherwise people wouldn't stay, right? But I definitely learned some things, and it was interesting, but ultimately it was a cult, and I wasn't going to be part of that. I hope you enjoyed the video. I do videos like this quite often, probably about a couple videos like this a week. Sometimes I'll do a live stream as well. So if you want to get notified for when I have a video out, or if I have an upcoming live stream, you should subscribe to my channel. YouTube is really heavily deranking my videos. My last video got demonetized instantly. So if you could hit like and share this video with anybody that you think might enjoy it, that would really help out the channel a lot, and, you know, overcome some of this deranking by YouTube. Anyways, until next time, everybody, stay lucid.